What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Saturday, and we are going to be talking about the news from the week. I'm your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out today. I do appreciate it. We're going to talk about some Jonathan Majors. Is there a comeback on the horizon? We also have a new person coming to the MCU, with Sadie Sink. And then we got to talk about Invincible. If you have not watched Invincible, listen, I'll try to keep it spoiler free, but we got to talk about Invincible, because wow. But yeah, we'll talk about that and a couple other things as well. We are, I don't think we're gonna be here that long. I don't think we're gonna be here that long, judging by the topics. It was kind of a medium week. And also me and the wife, we got a semi hot date later tonight. So I do have to hurry and wrap this up and can't be here forever with y'all, but we definitely are going to have a good time in the meantime. So let us see who is here today. Michael from UK to Jamaica. All right. Thank you so much for making it out. Paulette, thank you. Appreciate you. Mitch is back. Good to see him. We got Gothic Chick here. What's going on? Treese, hello. Come on through, Ms. Harper. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. My man Nelson is here. Thank you. Let's see, and shout out to the replay gang as well. Quiet One, what is up? Good to see you. You got Kristen Pratt holding it down with the mod squad. Thank you so much. London calling with Stamina MC. What is up? Talented One, good to see you. Tyra, hello. Soto, what is up? Thank you for coming through. Corey, how you doing? My man Minister Crush is back as well. Samke, appreciate you coming through. Let's see. Breeze, hello. Breezy Jam, what's going on? Kristen, hello. Jill, good to see you. Who else did I see? We got the homie Rhonda's here. Thank you for coming through. Raymond, what's going on? Eugene, hello. DJ, what's up? My man Mo is here, and we got Big Bo right after that. What is up? Andrew, appreciate you coming through. My man Derek Gaines as well. Philroy, hello. Real, what's up? Shar, hello. Let's see. Tony, good to see you. Terry, appreciate you coming through. My man Eric is back. Last of my kin. Angel, hello. We got Mo Jet. And let's see who else. Dastro, what is up? CPT, Mama J, Antoine. Shout out to all of y'all that have made it out or that are on your way or watching on the replay. I appreciate y'all for that. Let's see. Since we are gonna have a little bit of extra time, because like I said, it's not gonna be too long. If you have like some other topics or questions you want to talk about, you can submit them and then we'll talk about them maybe towards the end. But let's get to some of the quick topics here. We got a new sci-fi film coming out. Y'all know I love me some good sci-fi. Who is this? Oh yeah. So I don't know about y'all, but like I really enjoyed this movie. I think, but it's been so long since I've seen it. I don't even know if it was a good movie or not. I just know that it was it is now a cult classic, and that is Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers is now going to have a new movie coming out, and Columbia Pictures is plotting this movie. It's going to be directed by the District 9 filmmaker Neil Blomkamp to write and direct it. In case you did not know, District 9 was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that movie, and this definitely feels like it'll be right up Neil's alley. Let's see, what else did he do? He also did Chappie, which was okay. It was cool. And Elysium. I did like Elysium. I thought that was all right. Now, in case you're not aware of what Starship Troopers is about, it tells of the interstellar war between Earth and a host of bug-like aliens, and focused on a rise of military servicemen named Johnny Rico. But the story had other things on its mind, like exploring the strengths of life in the military, in a military society, and such ideas as having to perform service in order to have voting rights. And now Blomkamp, he's not going to do just another remake of the last film. Sources are saying that his goal is to go back to the source material in the novel that this was based off of. Now, I had not actually read the novel. I didn't even know it was based off of a novel. So if anybody here has read the novel, how do you guys feel about the idea of making this more closer to the novel, or did you enjoy the film? Like, again, I walked into it and I was a kid, so I didn't know of any agendas. I didn't know of what was going on. Loosely, I was reading that there was like some fascism going on and stuff like that. I got to go back and watch it with my more adult eyes, and maybe I could pick up on this stuff. Maybe it don't hold up. I don't know. Um, I see y'all saying the war propaganda was crazy. Okay, all right. I mean, look, as a kid, I'm just like, yo, kill the bugs. Shoot them bugs. That's all I knew back then. So I'm interested to see what is going to happen. I really like how Neil, as a director, can make even these sci-fi things feel grounded. I really enjoyed District 9. And since it also had to deal with bug-like aliens, I'm like, bro, this is right up your alley. This is all you. So anyway, you guys let me know. How do you feel about the fact that we're getting another Starship Troopers, but this time closer to the novel? Are you excited for this? Are you kind of halfway about it? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Let's stick to sci-fi. And let's talk about some more aliens, because we have A Quiet Place. So A Quiet Place, now, when it first came out, when I tell you, this was probably one of the best theatrical experiences I've ever had in my life. Like, if you went to A Quiet Place in a theater, and I don't know the last time anything like this has been replicated. Nobody made a sound. Nobody talked. Nobody walked. Nobody coughed. Okay? Like that right there. I mean, I remember when the movie first started and everything was quiet, you had people with their little popcorn, their little snacks and stuff. All that stuff was dead once we got past the first 5 minutes, that bridge scene. When you found out making a noise will get you killed, oh, that was it. No, people was like, you had to do the fake cough because you didn't want to make no type of noise. So I like the fact that this came off very original. Now what had me worried was when they did A Quiet Place Part 2, because John Krasinski, who directed the first movie and did an amazing job with it, he was not trying to make another movie. He was like, yo, this is a one and done. It's over with. But the studio, they saw that money and they was like, nah, run it back. Run it back right now. So Quiet Place 2 came out and it was okay. I don't think it was as good as the first one, but I did like Part 2. It was cool. Emily Blunt stepped in. You still had everybody, coming back or whatever. And then, even after that, the studio was like, nah, run it back again. We want more. And that's when we got Quiet Day. What was that? Day 1 or whatever. So, but the Day 1, this is the one with Lupita, with Joseph Quinn in there. I did not like it as much. I think the because this was supposed to be a prequel. I think Day 1 was a real step down, and it was really starting to water down the entire franchise at that point. Because now it looks like y'all just doing money grabs left and right. So at South by Southwest, the current film festival that's going on right now, you do have the producer of it. I think his name is Brad Fuller, and he had some updates on the franchise and what we can expect. Let's see. Fuller says here, so Day 1 is not A Quiet Place Part 3, just to be clear. But A Quiet Place Part 3, we're starting to put it together right now. You know, when we made the first one, Krasinski didn't have a lot on his plate. He had just come off The Office and he wanted to be a director. So, we are supposedly going to get A Quiet Place Part 3. I don't know how far they can go with this. And that is my main concern right now. Like, it was cool in the first one, phenomenal. Second one, good. Third one, meh. Where else are you going to go with this? We already know how to defeat the aliens at this point. We already know that, like, you know, what's going on with, like, what are you going to do? Show another group of survivors? Because all you're going to do is just repeat what we really saw in part 1 and maybe part 2. Like, I don't, like, are you trying to go even like day 0? Like, where are you going to go with this? I don't know. But they do talk about Krasinski here. And he says here that Krasinski, he's so in demand, it's hard to get him. He's making a movie now. So as soon as he's finished with that, hopefully he'll turn his attention to A Quiet Place Part 3. We all want to finish that trilogy, and I'm hopeful there's even more Quiet Place movies beyond that. Okay. 2 things. 1, I like the fact that you do want to go after John Krasinski. He did probably the best out of all of these films, right? Like, the first one, great. Second one, yes. So I think that is a good sign. I don't like the idea of, and this is the second part, I don't like the idea of more Quiet Place movies after this. You don't need more. I know you want more because you want money. I get that. But what do you have here? Like, what are you going to keep making these movies about? Because at this point, I don't know if there's enough for me to care any more or any differently about what's going on in this world. I mean, it's only so many times you can show us people either not knowing what we already know about the aliens being quiet and, you know, stuff like that, or people being dumb and making noise when they really shouldn't be making like, what other angle do you have here? I don't see it. And at this point, it feels like it's just going to keep going downwards. But I am interested in John Krasinski directing. That is at least some type of saving grace, but you still need to convince me on, like, what else does this new world, what does this story have to offer? Because I don't know what it is. But anyway, guys, you let me know. How do you feel about another one? Okay, now the real Quiet Place 3 coming out. Is this something that you're looking forward to? Is this something that you're interested in? Maybe you don't want to deal with it at all. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Quiet one. They shouldn't drag this out like the Hangover films. Man, that, whoo! Now let me tell you, I went to see The Hangover in theaters. That was probably my second or third best theater going in experience. Like, the same way Quiet Place was amazing, having everyone be quiet, the first Hangover had everybody busting up laughing. It was amazing. I remember, I'll never forget this. I was laughing so much, and the girl next to me was laughing so much. She was like holding on to me. Like, I was like, man, I don't know you. Like, what are you? I mean, we was in college, but still, I was like, little Karen, I don't know who you are, you know, but at the same time, everything was so funny. Everybody just kind of went along with it anyway. But yeah, like, them Hangover films, the success of the first one was so good. I understood why they'd want to make more, but it was kind of like, What are you gonna do? Lose another friend? You know what I'm saying? Like it was not good. Every time you force that insane crazy shock value, it does not go very well. It just doesn't. So yeah, please do not hang over these this franchise, because that was bad. That was bad to see. What's next? Oh, we got some ScarJo news. So Scarlett Johansson, she has been in the news a little bit, and apparently she ain't going. There's a lot of things she ain't going for, and she wanted to get a couple things off her chest during this interview that she was doing. And one of the things that she was talking about was something that we've talked about here, and it's about what does she like in public. Now, I have never had the opportunity to meet ScarJo. I would love to. I've been a fan for a long time, but it looks like I'm gonna have to reevaluate some things, because she ain't going. She ain't going. And it says here that ScarJo has a strict policy in her personal life to never take photos with fans in public. She says here, it really offends a lot of people. It doesn't mean I'm not appreciative, of course, that people are fans or happy to see me, but I always say to people, I'm not working. And that means I don't want to be identified as being in this time and place with you. I'm doing my own thing. Oh, okay. All right. What else? She had something else to say? She says, I like to be in my own thoughts that have nothing to do with other people think of me. I don't like being self-conscious. Well, excuse the heck out of me. Okay, sorry. So I think that this goes two ways, right? One way you can look at it is, ma'am, you're a public figure, you're out in public, your work, your brand, it relies on the public, right? So, in other words, if people don't like ScarJo anymore, you think they're gonna show up to her movies? You think she's still gonna be able to work with if she does not keep up a positive public persona? So one could make the argument that you're always working. You know, what do they say in sales? Always be selling. You know what I'm saying? Like that you never know. Now, on the flip side of that, she's a human being. She don't have to take no pictures with nobody if she don't want to. We just talked about that with Anthony Mackie. This man got a whole reputation of being like, nah, goodbye. Thank you. Okay, stay over there. Stay over there. Don't come over here. Stay over there. No pictures. Goodbye. And the thing is, I guess I can at least appreciate her being honest about it, because now I know, right? Like now I know if I see her down the street or whatever, I'm gonna be like, no, that's okay. That's okay. Now I do wonder though, if it's in an interview and you're technically working, could I get a selfie at that point? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, listen, she don't want to take no pictures. So y'all been put on notice. Don't go bothering ScarJo. But in addition to that, you know, this ain't the only thing she's like a no-go for. But we talked about this with Maya Hawke and Ethan Hawke in terms of Instagram and social media. And it seems like ScarJo's been a victim of this as well from the studios. She says, I mean, even today, I got an email from Universal Pictures. Dang, she called them straight out from Universal. And they're like, hey, what's up, big head? Would you consider joining Instagram in tandem with the release of Jurassic World Rebirth? I got a lot of pressure to join social media. It does make her think, is there a way I could do this and stay true to who I am? I didn't feel like I could. I didn't even realize she's not even on social media. But the fact that the studios are like, hey, why don't you get on this gram over here? Why don't you get on the Snapchats and the TikToks? Why don't you go ahead and jump on that for us real quick? The problem with this is I think studios are still under the impression that people care about that likes and tweets translate to box office numbers. I have not seen that correlation. I have not seen a very popular streamer, Twitch person, whatever, translate over, and that means, okay, I'm going to pay all this money. So, for example, Kai Cenat, if Kai Cenat wanted to go ahead and be in a movie, I don't care. No, it's not because I don't watch him or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, I don't see Kai Cenat with having like one of the largest, platforms right now going out and having like a 5, 6, 7, $800 million movie just because he's in it, right? If Mr. Beast wanted to go make his own movie, I mean, he did good with the Netflix show, but that's on Netflix. I don't know if having all those followers are going to be like, oh, well, clearly I got to go watch them in the movie theaters. So it's odd that the studios are still looking at that as a way to really make things happen. I mean, last time I checked, y'all have better, more effective ways to getting butts in seats. All you usually have to do is cut a good trailer, and maybe you can do some cross promotion with different actors or different people or do different interviews. But like, what I like about what ScarJo said here is that, is this going to help me stay true to who I am? And she felt like it couldn't. Good. Don't do it. Don't do it, because the last thing people want is anyone, celebrity or not, being on social media and being inauthentic. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants people that are fake, phony, or just not interesting. If you're not yourself, then there's 0 point of you being on social media. So I like the fact that she's not going for that, and I respect it. I respect it. Then she also had some comments in this interview about Black Widow, about Natasha, because apparently some people still can't let this go. Okay, some people cannot let go of the fact that Natasha is gone, that she dead, she out of here. And ScarJo had to respond to this, and she said here, look, she dead. Okay, Natasha is dead. She is dead. She's dead. Okay, she knows what you Marvel fans are chirping. She says they just don't want to believe it. They're like, but she could come back. Look, I think the balance of the entire universe is held in her hand. We're going to have to let it go. She saved the world. Let her have her hero moment. Now, I think we both know she's right and she's lying. Okay? She's right. Natasha is dead. She gone. She out of there. Don't forget, right after that, she got into that spicy little lawsuit with Disney that tried to like sue her for the Black Widow movie, talking about she don't care about the kids in the pandemic and all. Don't forget. Now, she is producing something with Marvel, so she's still in good graces with Marvel. But yeah, Natasha's gone. Okay. Now, at the same time, that's the 616 Natasha. Okay. Let's just be honest about that. 616 Natasha, she gone. She dead. They even tried to bring her back. Bruce tried to do it with his snap, couldn't bring her back. She gone. Okay. Her soul is lost. But that doesn't mean that we can't get a variant. That doesn't mean, we saw it in What was that, season 2? What If season 2? Watcher can sit here and be like, okay, you go here. Okay, other variant, you ain't got no friends, no family, everybody dead in your world. Why don't you come on over here? they can do whatever they want, so they might. I don't know if ScarJo will come back, but they might bring a different Natasha in. That's always possible. But yes, I do agree. Let it, it's done. She's out of here. She ain't coming back. It's fine. And if she does come back, it'll probably be a one and done just for Secret Wars or something. Let's have our little cameo moment and then move on. So anyway, guys, how do you feel about what ScarJo had to say, how she was feeling with her policies? What do you think about that? Is that something that you can respect? Is this something that you like, nah, man, she's full of it. She needs to take these pictures. Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Nelson Taraji P. Henson was stalked by a fan insisting on taking a picture. I saw that video. And it was that was a classic example of not being able to not just not reading the room, but like you don't read the person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've met Taraji twice. Super nice. It's funny because she has that I don't want to say the actual term, but she has that resting mean face sometimes. So she might look a little unapproachable, but it's kind of like when you actually talk to her, she's like super kind, very gracious, but it was obvious in that situation that you're referring to. She was trying to get her car, she was trying to leave. I mean, she was being way more nicer than she needed to be in that situation. But dude was being very thirsty. He was being incredibly thirsty. Just to take a picture, talking about I'll be your bodyguard. Too much. Like, bro, if it's not happening, it's not happening. It's okay. You will live. Let's do some quick DCU stuff. Nothing too major actually with DCU right now. Let's see. You got James Gunn. He did reveal the text message that he got from Jason Momoa the morning Gunn became one of the heads of DCU. And all Jason Momoa said was effing Lobo. That's it. Lobo. And James Gunn was like, dude, I said you should have been Lobo for years. No lie. No Gunn. I have been saying that Jason Momoa should be Lobo for years. No, I'm just playing. We both have. Everybody has. Okay. He should have never been cast as Aquaman. He was always Lobo as Aquaman. That's all it is. Jason Momoa is Lobo in real life. Okay. He's not even going to act. He's just going to put makeup on and do everything he normally does once he plays in this Supergirl movie. So yes, I like the fact that he's excited for it and there's some enthusiasm for it. That is cool. Though we do have another rumor, and this is for the Superman film, because it's possible that we might actually be having a super cameo. There might be a super cameo. So this is a rumor. Okay, so take that with a grain of salt. One big rumor is that one cameo appearance by a big A-lister in Superman, and that has not been unveiled yet. Not yet. Now, this comes from Jeff Snyder, who, by the way, still has me blocked. Y'all know this dude blocked me. I ain't say two words to him. He blocked me, I think, because of the recast T'Challa rumor or whatever. I didn't even say nothing to him. Nothing at all. But anyway, whatever. I was trying to pull up his article so I could give him some credit, but I was like, oh, you still got me blocked. Whatever. Anyway, it says here by Jeff Snyder, the suggestion is that Gunn has enlisted a big star to make a small appearance in the summer blockbuster as Superman's father, Jor-El. And it says here with the likes of Tom Cruise or Chris Pratt, both of them are being name checked here as possible people that can come in and play Jor-El. So here's the thing. I don't think it'll be, well, Chris Pratt maybe. I mean, because obviously him and Gunn are really cool, but I would be surprised if it was Chris Pratt, only because that would be a very limiting role, right? Like even Kevin Costner, or not Kevin Costner, All the people that have played Jor-El in the past, that you have Marlon Brando, who played him. But I don't think it'd be Chris Pratt. He's kind of busy. Tom Cruise, let's not forget. Who did WB try their hardest to schmooze over? Y'all remember when they flashed over the Flash movie to him? Because they wanted him to give a nice little stamp of approval. Remember that? When he was like, oh, the Flash. Ooh, yeah. Now, a little quick cameo from Tom Cruise would be interesting as Jor-El, I guess. I think that it would be hilarious. They wouldn't do this, but it would be hilarious if it was Henry Cavill. When I tell you, I would laugh so hard. I would laugh so freaking hard if Henry Cavill showed up as Superman's daddy in this movie, because I already know a certain segment of the population is going to be like, oh, why couldn't you just make him Superman? They're going to lose their collective minds. But when I tell you that would be the perfect, don't let me run DC. Don't let me do it, because I do it. That'd be the perfect troll job. I'd be like, hey, didn't y'all say y'all wanted Superman back? Y'all wanted him back, right? He a Kryptonian. Y'all wanted Cavill back, right? Ooh, y'all would not want me as a DCU person. Boy, I'd be laughing so hard that theater. Whoo, my goodness. Oh man. But James Gunn ain't gonna do that. He's not gonna, blow up everybody's minds like that. But I do think that since James Gunn is a really big fan of the old school Superman with Christopher Reeves, I think that he will try to get somebody who could be a one and done big A-list type of actor. It's not a lot of them out there, dude, by the way. So, it'll be interesting to see who they get. But I like the Tom Cruise. If you want to get Tom Cruise to come in and do 2 minutes of work, and that just gets him another WB check, I see that as a good long-term play for them to do. But anyway, you guys let me know, what do you think about that, about Jason Momoa, immediately getting on the phone and talking about Lobo, and what do you think, and who do you think should be Jor-El? Who should play Superman's daddy in the DCU? Ooh, did you say Mel Gibson? Well, I don't know if he's still A-list though, but I can see it working. I saw Nick Cage also. That wouldn't be bad, because Nick Cage, he was supposed to be Superman, so I could see them playing homage to that too. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Good points. All right, y'all let me know what you think in the comments though. JM, what you got? Momoa, happy for you, but we need a black Superman movie. Man, why has no one asked about that? I'm still like, we had supposedly 2 of those. Did they get rid of the DEI initiatives at DC too? Like, what happened to that? Michael B. Jordan was supposed to do one. What was the other dudes? JJ Abrams was supposed to do one with Ta-Nehisi Coates or whatever. Like, what? Nobody gonna ask that? Y'all had a whole DC convention press meeting thing. Nobody asked. This is why y'all need more black press. Okay, this is why y'all need more black press. Just saying, I'll be looking at these interviews and all these press meetings, and it looks a certain way. William, is that why Tom said Flash was a good movie? Maybe. I mean, they were courting Tom. David Zaslav, he's courting Tom very hard. Like, he really wants Tom Cruise to come and make movies, because keep in mind, in the industry, they believe that Tom Cruise saved Hollywood during the pandemic with Top Gun Maverick. So he is widely praised and heralded because of that. So these studios are absolutely interested in that and him. Quiet one. It'd be interesting if they cast Dean Cain. Yikes. Yeah, I don't think Dean's very popular. And they said A-list. Dean is like a D-list at this point. Like he's not, that would not be a good move. That would not be a good move. I don't I can't see that. JM, what you got? If you could make a DC movie, what character? I mean, first of all, I absolutely would love Static. Like I would make a Static movie if I could. I would like I think an Icon movie would be incredibly interesting to make. I don't think enough people know about Icon. I don't think enough people know about his upbringing, and I personally would love to use an Icon story to tell the story of systemic racism. Because if you know about Icon, he's not a human or what, like he's an alien, but he took on the appearance of the first person that saw him, which were black people. And he's lived his life for a long time. So I would not mind taking something like that and using it for a woke agenda, but I think you can do a really cool story with that too. So we'll see. Well, we'll see. I ain't got no deal on the table. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. All right. So real quick, can we talk about Invincible season 3? If you have not seen Invincible season 3, I will do my best to keep this spoiler free, but oh my god. Oh my god. Now I on the last live, I want to say I told y'all that this last episode was going to be nuts. Okay? I also told y'all make sure you go watch the Adam Eve spinoff. Okay? I told y'all this. I tried to help y'all out. It's going to be hard to keep this spoiler free. Okay. So, let me just kind of give my overall thoughts over this season. First and foremost, I love the tension that was built up between Mark and what was the bald head dude's name? Is Leland, or what's his name? The bald guy. Cecil. Loved that tension. Probably one of the best lines was like, yo, you can either be the good guy or you can save the world, but you can't do both. Okay? That right there, that theme right there was perfectly strung out throughout the entire season. We saw Mark be challenged time and time again, where he was going back in time, dealing with the immortal, dealing with his own variants and stuff. I absolutely loved how they forced Mark into different situations that made him reevaluate what it meant being a hero. What was that other dude's name? The dude with the electricity or whatever. That story right there was probably one of the most authentic, realistic type of stories that I've ever seen in a superhero just drama at all. I loved how they Powerplex. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all for the assist. The Powerplex storyline, and even the story before that, where you had the two guys that were in a relationship together, but they went down the wrong path. They had to go down, they were forced into a life of crime because they just could not do things. They couldn't get a job, they couldn't work. That type of storytelling is not something that we've ever really seen. We don't usually see the other side of this. And I love how this show and the season specifically made sure that we got to see all different sides, because when you see Mark come in and deal with those two guys, you sitting there like, yeah, Mark, just go take care of the bad guys. Yeah, bank robbers, get rid of them. But then when you see the backstory, then you it forces you to think a little bit differently. It's like, Mark, do you gotta hit him that hard? Mark, you gotta be that mean. Like, Mark, take it easy, just a little bit, So, and think about when you watch the very first season, how they just everything is black and white, good guy, bad guy, right? So I love how they made that complicated. And then of course, Powerplex was a fantastic callback to the first season, where you still got that ramification, right? You don't just sit here and destroy an entire city, whether you fighting with your daddy or not. You don't destroy Chicago, because it stood out for me, and then just act like, oh, it's 3 seasons later, we're fine now. Hell no. Y'all don't ever want us to forget about 9/11, even though you want us to forget about other Black history. So, of course, in this world, we're not going to forget about what happened in Chicago and in multiple other cities. So to have Powerplex in that story was so realistic, because at the end of the day, unprocessed grief, it's a dangerous thing that can take you to a lot of places. And clearly it took Powerplex to a mental place that there's just no coming back from, right? And I don't know. I just that was one of my favorite episodes, not for the action, but just for the realness of it. You're talking about somebody who lost their family because these superheroes just be running around doing stuff, and to him, justice was not served. And what justice can you get from that? It does. And the mere fact that that confrontation between him and Mark was like, man, I'm gonna remember their names. I'm sorry. I did. It don't bring them back. That pain don't go away. So that right there, that to me might have been one of the best written stories in the series. Maybe the action wasn't where people wanted, but the fact that you took that and that was the best villain creation story, which is hard to even call him a villain, because it's more like, is he more of a victim? I don't know. But the fact that we can even think about it is good writing. Love the multiverse episode, with all the different Marks. The only issue I'd have with that episode specifically is just the fact that you had so much chaos going on. By the way, it was like 3 days. It was 3 days of Marks all around the world just doing things. Yikes. I don't think they gave us enough time to process what that damage really meant and what it really did. And then of course we do have to talk about the conquest. Shout out to the fact that this was an amazing Walking Dead reunion, where you had Stephen Yeun, who played Glenn in Walking Dead, and you had Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming in to play Conquest. This was Negan versus Glenn all over again. Chef's kiss, love that. And this battle right here, this battle right here, Mark. But listen, this Conquest, I'm sitting here looking at Conquest like, I think he would have gave Nolan a run for his money. Like, if Nolan was here, I don't know if he would, because the whole time I'm like, is Nolan coming? Is somebody gonna come and help this man? Is something? This man had no. This had to have been the most brutal battle Mark has ever been in. When gosh, I don't want to spoil it for people, but when you don't have anything else to fight with, like, you just, yikes. But I love the the turn of events that happened at the end. I will say that when that certain moment showed up, I was like, oh, there's no coming back from this. That person is out of here. They're donezo. Man. Oh, and they had us lose whatchamacallit, the other hero at the end, which I thought was kind of messed up. He almost had a bit of a Gambit type of moment, if you know what I'm talking about. You know, like, listen, this season was well worth the wait, and I incredibly enjoyed it. I love the themes, love the action, love the fights, the battles, especially the last battle, because that fight clearly was paying homage to the first season. Remember that first season finale that was damn near epic as well. So I like how they recreated all that stuff. But when it comes to the rating for season 3, I think I will go with, I want to give this a 9. I want to give this a 9 out of 10. There were a couple slow moments early on, but man, this thing picked up the pace. It culminated in such a very good, satisfying way. And then to leave it where it was left off, where Mark came to that conclusion, because it's like, yo, good guy, save the world. Mark's like, F all of that. All of y'all are done. I'm not playing no more. My man said gloves are off. Okay, let's go. So I incredibly enjoyed it. If you guys have seen it, feel free to let me know what you think. Scale from 0 to 10, where do you rate season 3 of Invincible? Let me know in the comments down below. Oh my gosh, man, that was so good. But we do have a couple of updates here for Invincible, and this is from Kirkman himself, because apparently there's a video game. I think we talked about this before. There is a video game that is happening, and Kirkman gave somewhat of an update for it. He says here, I don't know what I can say. I think it's definitely in the works. It's definitely cool. I don't even know if I can say how much of it I've seen. I'm going to play it safe and just say, from what I have seen, I'm more excited than I've been about anything involving Invincible. First of all, I am absolutely buying this video game. Like, there's no way you can't give me an Invincible game and I'm not entertained. Like, I need to see this is going to go hard. This is going to go hard. I would love to see this. I cannot wait. I want this. I want this. Now, as for that final scene at the end, if you go, you know, I don't even want to say it's like post credits, but all the way at the end. Now I have not read the comics, so I've intentionally not read it because I wanted to kind of keep most things a surprise. But he did talk about what it could mean. So he teased that Invincible season 4 may include the unused comic storyline where Mark fights the devil. It says every superhero has some chapter where they go to hell and they fight the devil. I never got around to doing anything like that in Invincible, so we might actually be getting something a little bit different, probably from the comics. So I do like that. And it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. And then, of course, as we just mentioned, season 4 is already renewed, so that's good news. But even better news, Kirkman told us that they're aiming for an annual release, so no more 2-3 year wait, thankfully, for each season, teasing 2026 release for season 4. I fully support that. I fully support that. So I love the fact that you know, season 4 is happening. I love the fact that they are now focused on trying to get these seasons out on time, so that way we're not waiting all these years in between just for 8 episodes or whatever. So this to me is fantastic. Great season. But you guys let me know. What do you think about season 3 of Invincible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Jill, I know it's animation, but it was still a little hard to watch for me. Okay, all right. I mean, I was all in it. I was all in it. Like as graphic as, and that thing got graphic. Like they are really not holding back. You know, body parts flying around, things getting broken everywhere. Oh. That was a lot. That was a lot. But thank you so much, Jill. I appreciate you. Michael, who would do better in the others universe, Cecil or Nick Fury? So, good question. I would say that Nick Fury would do better in the Invincible universe because Cecil would not work in the MCU. Cecil is, he don't care. Cecil is like, I'm gonna do what needs to get done, however, whenever, whatever. Cecil would be the kind of guy who's like, Ultron may not be that bad. All we got to do is just reprogram him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Cecil would be up to. Nick Fury ain't as cutthroat as Cecil. So, and that's just because the MCU is way softer. So I think Nick Fury would do better in Invincible. But we'll see. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna hold that until a little later. All right, let's move on. We have some MCU news, and that is because Sadie is coming to the MCU. Yes, none other than Sadie Sink herself. Apparently now she is coming to Spider-Man 4. That's right. Sadie Sink is set to join the sequel from Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios. As for who she will be playing, the prevailing theory is she'll be introduced as X-Men character Jean Grey, but don't count out the idea that she shows up as another beloved redhead or redheaded Spider-Man character. It says here, one can expect Tom Holland's old castmates to have reduced roles while newcomers are added to the ensemble, with Sink being the first major role. Wow. So we've talked about this rumor before. One of the rumors was that Sadie Sink was supposedly going to be playing Jean Grey in the upcoming X-Men movie. And, you know, it looks like they're trying to go the younger route with the X-Men. It looks like they want people, the actors in their early 20s-ish or so. So I'm still having a hard time seeing Sadie Sink outside of her Stranger Things role. So to me, she still looks like I mean, she's in her 20s, so she's a grown woman, but she still looks young to me. But or younger to me, which is a good thing for movies. You do need that, right? But playing in Spider-Man 4, now this is a lot. Because the question now is, who is she going to play? Now, there is a rumor, and this comes from Snyder again, that she's going to be playing Mary Jane. She could be playing Mary Jane. So, we have to talk about what this really means. Because it means a couple of things. One, if she is playing Jean, I don't know how Jean and Spider-Man's school, I don't know how much that will work, because it's going to be pretty distracting to have X-Men in a Spider-Man movie. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's kind of like, I feel like it takes some of the attention away from Spider-Man because we're so thirsty for what we're going to get with X-Men. Now, again, it's entirely possible. I don't know. Like, I don't know what Jean Grey, how that would make sense, because Peter Parker's in college, so I don't think y'all can have them both go to school together, because by that time she would have already been with Xavier, because he picks her up when she's like a child. So I don't know. But I guess the other weird thing is, or awkward thing is, we already have a Mary J. Well, we already have an MJ. Like we had MJ with Zendaya, who, by the way, is also like Tom Holland's actual partner. So it's kind of like, are we whitewashing here? Is that what would happen if she played Mary Jane? Is that whitewashing? I mean, or is that like reverse whitewashing? Because yes, Mary Jane from the comics is white. She's a redhead. That's fine. But the MCU made MJ Zendaya. So if you go back to the original, is that whitewashing? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, I'm a little confused on how that works. You know? And here's the other thing. Now, here's the other question. Is Spider-Man 4 taking place right before Secret Wars or right after? If it takes place before Secret Wars, maybe I could see that being a Jean Grey instead. If it's taking place after Secret Wars, then maybe we're talking about variants. Maybe everything has changed. Maybe that this is where we get the soft reboot. And I don't know. I don't know. So can Peter have two MJs in his life? Is that okay? Is it gonna matter? You know, maybe not. I mean, listen, first of all, in the comics, Peter had Gwen, Peter had Mary J. Like, Peter was getting around, messing around with Silk a little bit. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm interested to see. Obviously, I think that's what everyone is going to be looking for, to see is like who she's going to play. If she's Mary Jane, okay, fine, I guess. I guess that takes the whole X-Men thing off the table then. But I don't know, guys, who do you think she is going to play? Is she going to be Mary Jane? Do you want her as Mary Jane? Do you want her as Jean Grey instead? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts. Okay. Ooh. So we're gonna stick on Spider-Man. We're gonna stay on that. Guys, we finally got what's this guy's name? Thames. Hudson Thames. Y'all remember woke Spidey and that whole controversy and all that drama. So he has finally responded in an interview. And shout out to my man Juju Green. You know, I just ran into him actually last couple weeks ago. He was able to sit down with Hudson and have a conversation about, what did you mean when you said you didn't want the show to be woke and you was afraid your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the animated Disney Plus show, was going to be woke? What did you mean? And this is something I called it. I said it too. I was like, somebody gonna have to ask this man, what was he talking about? What did he mean by that comment? Because there was no follow-up. Nobody was talking. I'm like, I know he ain't that inaccessible. So shout out to Juju for getting that interview and talking to him about it. But I wanted to read one of his comments here. And this is his explanation as to what was going on and why he was calling stuff woke or whatever. So he says here, so obviously something that I said was cherry picked and used essentially with no context, just to kind of stir up drama. We were talking about, okay, first of all, you didn't give any context. Like, you can't sit here and be like, oh, y'all cherry pick what I said with no so you didn't give context. Now you probably should have followed it up at that time. And I get it. It's the internet. People are gonna, jump on everything you say, like I'm doing right now. But don't blame people for not looking for context, because I was looking for context and you didn't offer it at that time. So let's just keep that there. Anyway, we were talking about that little period of time before the show came out, and I was noticing a lot of comments online that I was getting that was either people being nervous or expressing concern that the show was using topics of diversity and equality in an inauthentic or disingenuous way. Okay. He says here, it made me defensive. Like, I wanted to kind of defend our show a little bit. It was such a poor choice of words. My point was that our show doesn't have to do that. It doesn't have to pull any tricks. Jeff Trammell did such a brilliant job of writing what he knew. Equality and diversity was just already baked into the story that he wrote, and nothing felt forced, I suppose. So I was really just trying to compliment the grace in which that all plays out in the show. And ironically, it's what attracted me to the show so much in the first place. Okay, so in other words, it sounds like certain fans, and we all know which ones they were, certain fans started to hit up Hudson and be like, oh, this is going to be woke. And he took that as forced diversity, forced inclusion, which, by the way, I want people to listen to that slowly. Forcing inclusion, forcing diversity, forcing equity. These should not be bad things. Because if you really think about just that phrase, forcing diversity, like that's ending segregation. We needed laws to force diversity and inclusion. Why? Because naturally in this country, we don't just gravitate to the positive things. We gravitate to our human biases. So anyway, the fact that he got defensive over that, that's a whole nother story, I guess. But he was, I guess from what I read from that, he believed that the show was authentic. He believed that, it was diverse and inclusive already, and it didn't feel forced. All right. I wanted to play a clip from the exchange. And because I think what he says after this maybe gives a little bit better clarity. Maybe.
I want to talk about, that's like the danger of kind of like, using buzzwords like woke and things of that sort, because again, like as soon as people hear that, you immediately, there's a reaction that's going to happen because of that, right? And I feel like a lot of people, mainly people on the internet, people who don't want to see like diversity and inclusion and things, I mean, obviously we have a president that's rolling back on a lot of those type of things, they have unfortunately co-opted the term woke, and now it means something completely different. So now every time every time like someone says it, like it's not what you mean, which is why, like, when I saw what you said, I was like, okay, but you accepted the role knowing what was baked into the show already. So to say that after the fact felt very weird. I'm like, that did, like, it wasn't, the puzzle wasn't adding up.
Why
it
would
wasn't
I
adding up for me.
do the show if I was against?
Because the show's in the can. The show's like, like the show's already done.
But that's that point.
You've worked with Zeno and Jeff, like all these.
Yeah, these are all my best friends, and like everyone I would hope who knows me like knows kind of how I feel, and I'm like the most artsy fartsy left. Like I grew up in a family of hippies, pretty much. So yeah, it was wild, but like I'm so glad that you brought up that point specifically, because that word has almost shifted in a way that like I didn't fully even realize it, like how that had happened, like to such a crazy degree. Is like it has become like the definition has changed.
And
I think that's the key thing at this point. Stop using these buzzwords unless you are ready to fully unpack it, or to fully go into what you mean, or maybe dissect or deconstruct how people are going to take it. Because yeah, at this point, we unfortunately live in a society where people take their own perspectives and make it their own realities. Like, we're living in a world where, like, you can say A and people are like, nah, you mean B. No, I'm talking about this. And you're there like, no, but I'm going to take it like that. So listen, just be mindful of what you say nowadays. That's all, you know. So, you know, I'm appreciative of the fact that they had this conversation. It does go on a little bit more on Straw Hat Goofy's channel, Juju's channel. I listened to the whole thing. From what I gathered, he was coming from a good place. But man, this is what happens when you engage with people that I would say come from a bad faith place. Like, people that are not trying to maybe even hear you or even care because they're so politicized or they're so radicalized to one certain ideology that you don't need to engage with them anyway. Like, you literally could just always, and I tell people this is always an option, be quiet. Just you being quiet is free. That is also free. So anyway, guys, what did you think about Hudson's answer? What do you think about his response to this? Is Spider-Man back? Is he cool in your book? Whatever you think, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Making good time here. All right, what else? We got an Avengers update. This is from the Russo brothers. They were doing their interviews, and can I vent real quick? Yeah, I just want to vent real quick. You know, it's really frustrating as a member of the press that when you get these interview opportunities, the studios are usually, they kind of give you some, I don't want to say rules, but some guidelines, right? So for example, when I go to the Electric State, you know, press junket, y'all saw the videos posted, like in big words, please keep your questions about the movies, about this movie. Please don't ask about their personal lives. Keep it focused on the Electric State. Cool. But my frustration is when people get these interviews and they just be like, to hell with all that. Because even in this interview I'm about to talk about, they'll be like, oh, well, we were here about the Electric State, but we asked these questions about Avengers. And I'm just like, you know, it sucks because I know I'm not a big enough, well-established enough. Like, I'm not Variety. I'm not Deadline. I'm not Hollywood Reporter. I'm not Collider. I can't afford to make the studios to go against whatever they're asking, because keep in mind, they're giving me an opportunity and the least I can do is respect their wishes. And it's frustrating when these other outlets, in my opinion, disrespect what they get asked because they're going to get these headlines later. Obviously, we all want to ask the Russos about the Avengers, and you know, we all want that. But the fact that y'all sit here, get the warning, and y'all violate it anyway, that bothers me, mainly because y'all know you're too big to fail. Y'all know that there's no way the studios are not going to call you back. But for us smaller outlets, we don't get the opportunity to get the, you don't think I would love to ask the Russos or, you know, somebody about an Avengers question and maybe get me some traction, maybe get quoted, maybe get some views on my channel? You don't think a smaller outlet would love to do that too? But y'all abuse that. Y'all abuse that. And y'all probably still gonna end up having an interview with the Avengers, you know, directors and cast and crew later anyway. So I just wanted to put that little mini vent out there. It's really frustrating how that stuff, that cycle of abuse is allowed and there are no consequences, and it just keeps small channels down. So I hate that. Anywho, sorry, I had to just get that off my chest. In this interview, we have the Russo brothers, and they're talking about what can we expect from Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Now, Secret Wars, if you don't know, is based off of not just one, but also two different comic runs. There was one in the 80s, I want to say, and then there was another one in like the 2015 era with Jonathan Hickman. So the Russos were asked, like, okay, so like, which one are you pulling from? Where are you getting your stories from that we can expect for Avengers Secret Wars? And they said here, well, oh, that's Juju. Sorry. Hold on. Juju, get down. There we go. They said here, well, we always create our own version of the story. So we use the comics as loose inspiration. But you know, I grew up on the original run. That was the one in the 80s. That's something that got me into the Marvel comic books. The Hickman run is also fantastic, and they're very different from each other in a lot of ways. So we'll draw inspiration from both of them. So this is definitely true in terms of how the Russo brothers do their work. If you think about Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, if you've read the comics, man, the movies might have been 15% of what happens in the comics. I mean, you got the Black Order, you got Thanos, you got the snap. I think that's about it. Because everything else was like they just kind of pulled it all together on their own. So if you were looking for anything close to comic book accuracy for Secret Wars, I think the closest you'll get, the fact that we have Doctor Doom, that's more of the Hickman run. And even with Spider-Man. So in the 1980s, that's when Spider-Man first got his suit, the black suit. So maybe we'll get that, you know, in this version. So maybe they'll just do like a combination of all of that put together. We'll have to wait and see. So that kind of makes a little sense with that. But there was another situation that happened. Let me see if I can get this, because I don't know if we talked about this or not, but a while back, I want to say a couple weeks back, we had some concept art that was supposedly leaked. And did we not talk about this? I don't know if we did or not. Let me grab these images real quick. So from my understanding, these were leaked online. I don't know who, what, where, or how, but they were leaked, and they basically were a lot of the concept art for what we could expect in Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Okay, I got the images. Let me pull them up for you guys. So, you know, and again, take this with a grain of salt, you know. But some of these images included things like Vision and Star-Lord, like hanging out. Now, this, I believe this, because this seems like one of those type of things that, hey, look at that Marvel humor, you know, I could see that. What else? You also had Hulk on this planet, I guess, with a bunch of other Hulks out there. And this is where he had his family. So this could maybe be a setup for Planet Hulk, World War Hulk. We don't know. Yeah, I'm assuming that might be She-Hulk as well, and his son Scar. And then, of course, this was a big one here with Doctor Doom, or you know, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. This is from the Hickman run, so this could be God Doom when he's in all white. And you see Doctor Strange, you know, who is like his right-hand man here as well. But of course, the thing that got most of us talking, look at this. Look at this. Yes, that is a Black Panther. Now, of course, a lot of people immediately was like, man, that show do look like Damson Idris. Right? That show do look like Damson Idris. Now, the other thing is some people were like, man, that might not be T'Challa. That might actually be T'Challa. So that could be a variant of a Black Panther. T'Challa, if I'm not mistaken, was the son of T'Challa, but from a different universe in the comics. So there was that talk too. Now, of course, if y'all recall, your boy went out, talked to the Russos. I showed them my own couple of images. I showed y'all those as well. I was like, yo, this is what I would love to see. I want to see stuff like this. I want to see T'Challa, in the Illuminati. And y'all know this right here. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if y'all hit me with this as well. So that's what I was talking about. So anyway, what I gathered from what the Russo said was that, yeah, they'll pick and choose little things, but in court to put in their story. But in terms of that concept art, a lot of people was like, okay, this looks like what we're getting. But they actually responded to this, the Russos, and they mentioned that no, that artwork was not from Doomsday or Secret Wars. Nothing spoiling in there. That's not our concept art. So the Russos are saying that ain't them. They're saying that it ain't theirs. Now, here's the other thing. The Russos are liars. We've talked about this, and I say this in a jestful way, but they some liars. Okay? Don't forget, these guys lied to us by telling us that the Hulk was going to be in Infinity War, and he was not. Okay? They are some liars. So I'm not believing anything that they said. I am going to go off of what I hope and wish, because I believe the Russos are good at least identifying key moments that people want. I don't think, and I don't believe anyone is going to go up to the Russos and be like, hey, you should bring T'Challa back. Like, I don't think anyone's going to do that. And that's why I had to go up there and do it, because I'm like, y'all already admitted while they were shooting Black Panther and Infinity War around the same time, they admitted that they completely underestimated how popular Black Panther was going to be. So I think, telling them that, like, yo, T'Challa is who we'd want to have on screen, a variant, by the way, was a helpful reminder for them. It was a helpful reminder. So they're saying that ain't their concept art. I don't believe them. That's straight cap, but we'll see. And they also talked about this too. There was like some baseball cards with a card for every Marvel actor, and it included how many movies the actors were contracted for. So Anthony Russo, he said, yes, we continue to use the baseball cards. Joe said now they have magnets on them so we could put them on the board and look at them. It's the only way to keep track of the amount of cards that we're working with. Anthony said that as far as how do we look at who's in the movies, it's just a long creative process of exploring where we want to take the story, what is the most surprising and exciting idea for us to push into, and which characters help us in that effort. So I don't think any of that. I think that's somewhat true. I think the real truth is this is going to dictate who finna die. It's that's all that is. Oh, you only got one more movie with us left? You gonna die. Oh, you just signed a new contract with 9 more movies? Okay, we got to give you a bigger storyline. I think that's what that really means. So I haven't done any digging, but I'm assuming, people with short contracts, like I don't know, maybe Jeremy Renner, Don Cheadle. Y'all already cut off his Armor Wars. I don't know. Some of y'all might be getting got. I would not be surprised, you know. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this Avengers updates? How are you feeling about Avengers Secret Wars? Did you like the concept art, even though they said it's not theirs? But come on now. Anyway, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that leak came from actual Marvel artists. So would not be surprised. It doesn't make sense that actual Marvel artists would make these concept arts and it not have some level of grain of truth in there. Let's also not forget the last time something leaked with Spider-Man No Way Home, it was with Andrew Garfield doing the green screen. Marvel was not happy with that because it was part of the movie, you know. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, let's get to the last topic here. We got Jonathan Majors. So Jonathan Majors has been up, down, all around and about when it comes to the good, the bad, and the ugly. So phenomenal actor. I don't think there's any question about that. But we also, you know, we covered the whole trial situation, not in super depth, but at least just up until the verdict. And of course, you know, he's always been, I think he'll never be forgotten as Kang the Conqueror as well. I actually got a chance to watch Magazine Dreams. Um First and foremost, I know some of y'all thirsties were out there for Magazine Dreams. I can tell you right now, this ain't that kind of movie. That movie right there is not the movie where you'd be like, Jonathan. No, you're not. Not that movie. All them muscles ain't going not in that movie, because it gets very dark. It's a very, very serious, dark, twisted film. Because of that, I do believe that he should be nominated. Like, he puts on a great performance. I'm just saying, this ain't no rom-com. This ain't no like, ooh, he's just gonna take off his shirt and take a shower. This ain't that. It's disturbing. It's disturbing. Good movie, I think. Overall, is a good movie. Maybe I'll do a review for it down the road. But I also got a chance to talk to him. That's going to be coming out on the Africa Roundtable, I think, next week. So he has been doing some interviews. But this was probably his first major interview, obviously post-trial, and it was with the Hollywood Reporter. And it's a long interview. Like, it really goes deep into his life, into, you know, everything that was going on with him. So obviously we're not going to have time to go through the entire article, but I highlighted a couple things here and there that jumped out. So let's see. Let's get to some of this here. It says here, oh, wait, before I go into this, based off of what he was going through with the whole trial and everything, there was absolutely no way they could have dropped Magazine Dreams. It wouldn't have been in the best interest of the studio, and it would not have helped Jonathan Majors either. So if anybody is out there trying to put on a conspiracy theory that, like, oh, they just trying to hold a black man down, no. The timing of that movie and the timing of his situation were completely incompatible. Okay, just Dr. Umar would be upset and disappointed. No one would have won if they had dropped Magazine Dreams any earlier at all. I do agree that they should be dropping it now because I think people are kind of like, moving forward. But back then, no, you could not drop that movie, not with the headlines that were going over at that time. It would have hurt Jonathan. It would have hurt the studios. They wouldn't have made money. It would have been a bad decision all the way around. So they made the right decision not to put it out. Not to. All right. Says here, December 2023, Majors had just learned about the conviction against him. A member of his legal team turned around from the seat and delivered the next piece of news. He goes, I'm just going to tell you that that way you're not surprised and you can start processing it. They fired you. Marvel fired you. So that's how and when he got the news. But maybe to a positive end, many high-profile people who have worked with Majors are now advocating for him. Whoopi Goldberg says, you don't get to say sorry these days. He was arrested. He went to court. He did what he was supposed to do. I'm not sure what else there is. Michael B. Jordan says that he would like to work with Majors again after Creed 3. And Jordan said, I would love to make Creed 4 together among other projects. This was over an email. Matthew McConaughey, who co-starred with Majors in White Boy Rick, he writes, I've known and know him as someone who is continuously striving to improve as a human, a man, and an actor. I believe in him. Listen, I think that says something, right? I mean, and I think it says something even more when, yes, you have black actors and, Black Hollywood has already accepted Jonathan Majors. They're giving him awards, like they're welcoming him back, all of that. But to even have someone like Matthew McConaughey start to speak up, I think that will start to wake up the other sides of Hollywood to kind of be like, oh, it's cool now. Like we're back. Okay. So to get this kind of support from other actors and people that are willing to put him in movies and stuff, and I do think Magazine Dreams will kind of give him another boost because his acting skills are up there for this. I think that's a positive sign for him there. Now here's where it gets a little messy. Majors says after his trial, in addition to the domestic violence program, he underwent therapy and re-engaged with his pastor, and as a result began to unpack childhood traumas he had not confronted before. He said, I dealt with sexual abuse from both men and women from the time I was 9, from people who are supposed to look after you in the absence of a father. Processing the abuse, Major says, that has led to more self-knowledge about his behavior in relationships. There are no excuses, but by getting help, you can begin to understand things about yourself. Whew. That's tough. This isn't something that was revealed during the trial. This wasn't something that we've known about. I'm not saying we have to know all this stuff, but I do think that there is something to knowing as much as possible about a person before we run to judgment about that person. I'm not saying that that's an excuse for bad behavior or nothing. I'm just saying that when we are trying to form an opinion about someone or even a situation, it does help to have as much information as possible, right? Because we don't know everything. So it's heartbreaking to hear that he was abused like that. And I'm at least happy to hear that since, I guess more recently, he's at least getting help. Because that was something that even during the trial, as some of the information was coming out, I was like, yo, something is going on. Like both of these people are messed up. in some way. And the only thing that you can really hope for is that they both just get help that they need, therapy, counseling, religion, whatever it is that will get you to a better place. Go for it, right? So I am encouraged to hear that he has been getting help, and that he is dealing with those unresolved issues, because man, ain't nothing worse than unresolved childhood trauma. Like, I feel like that's the basics of psychology nowadays. Childhood trauma stays with us for a long time, long time. It says here that Majors was kicked out of school for fighting. Fights often started, he says, because he or his siblings were being bullied. He said, "We looked poor. We were pretty nomadic, going from school to school, place to place. I had a big nose. Guys would pick on me. And for a long time, I was the outsider." So that sucks. Nobody likes to be picked on. It goes on to say the Hollywood Reporter reached out to 11 producers, directors, and execs who have worked with the actor, 3 of whom he suggested, including Michael B. Jordan. All of them, including the ones Major did not know that the THR was contacting, praised his acting, his work ethic, and his behavior on set. But many who have worked with Major spoke of their shock when news of his arrest broke, their sense that the allegations didn't align with their personal experiences of him. So this is interesting, mainly because, we kept hearing the opposite. When the trial and everything, when the accusations were out and all that, we kept hearing, "Oh my gosh, Jonathan Majors is so bad on set. He is, has unruly behavior and all this." Now, keep in mind, we also mentioned it's not illegal to be a jerk. Maybe he is a jerk online. Maybe, we don't know. Maybe he is rough on the set. We don't know. But I do think that it's helpful to hear more sides of the story. You got some people that probably have had negative experiences with Jonathan Majors. That doesn't take anything away from how they feel. But then you also have others that are saying, "Hey, he's fine with us. This doesn't make sense to us. This doesn't align with the Jonathan we know." So it's just one of those things where, like, sometimes you just have to hear more parts of the story. So all in all, I do think that this is something that probably lines up in Majors's favor. He does have another movie coming out soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was in Creed 4 as well. So I guess we can look forward to all of that coming up for him. But this could be the beginning of a comeback. We've talked about this, that there were small rumblings, small rumors, that maybe he even comes back as Kang, the Conqueror. I mean, listen, the standards of morality in society are pretty low. It's so low, we don't even care if people got felonies. We don't even care, right? So it wouldn't be surprising if the studios also were like, "You know what? Whatever. Get in here. Come and do a little conquering." Now they probably gonna bring him in just to kill him off, but I would not be surprised if a second chance were to happen. But you guys let me know. How do you feel about Jonathan Majors in this revealing interview, learning what you just learned, hearing what you just heard about some of the support that he's getting from the rest of Hollywood? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. JN, hopefully he gets an Oscar nod. It looks dark. Yes. I think it's a good possibility. Now, we don't know the competition and the other movies, but I think it's you can make a good case, like at least a nomination, at least. Thank you for that, Chris. What you got here? Off topic, but I'm mad. Candied yams is not supposed to have a bunch of stringy fiber strands. 1 hour round road, 1 hour round trip. Okay. Now I'm stuck with messed up yams. Restaurants need to keep and pay the best cooks. Chris, where did this come from? Let me tell y'all something. I swear there's nothing that can get people more riled up than being hangry and having your food just not meet your expectations. Like that can send you down such a twisted, dark spiral of just frustration, anger, confusion. So, sir, listen, Chris, I'm sorry your candied yams did not come out right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel for you. You right. You so right. Because at this point, ain't nothing that anybody gonna tell you that's gonna make you feel better unless they coming out with another batch of better yams for you. But I hope that you get a meal that satisfies you today and can cure your hangriness. I'm sorry. That was incredibly off topic, but thank you. All right, guys. That is wait a minute. Hold on. There was one more topic. I forgot about this. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. Let me get one more topic in. I think you guys give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I got it. Sorry, I forgot to add this on to I forgot to add this on, but y'all boy Anthony Mackie has been making the rounds. And while he's been out and about, he was on the Pivot podcast. And boy, but people was hitting me up like, E, did you hear what Mackie said? And this, I was like, listen, I'm not getting into that. It is what it is. But there was one thing that he talked about in this interview that I thought was very interesting. And I did not know this. All right. I knew some of it, but I didn't know this. And it had to do with his movie 8 Mile with Eminem. So classic film. Y'all know, y'all still clown him talking about, Clarence and all that. He played Papa Doc, leader of the Free World group. And one of the things that they talked about was how that classic beef, that classic, rap battle evolved. How did it happen? So Mackie gives the story right here. And he says, so we're doing the movie. And Eminem is just such a brilliant dude. We're on set one day, and he's like, yo, it don't make sense that we're beefing. And Mackie agreed. Eminem told him, I need something on you. The actor explained that the two talked for 2 hours where Mackie shared details about his life before going their separate ways. Okay. So, Eminem basically took a lot of that information. Mackie realized that M was using information that he told him about his life. So during the rap battle, B Rabbit said the character's real name was Clarence. and that he went to a private school and his parents were still married. And Mackie was like, "You're talking about me. You're not talking about Clarence." Eminem's raps had nothing to do with the character. That is hilarious. In other words, Anthony Mackie is Clarence, and Clarence is Anthony Mackie. Because he did go to private school. Then he went to Juilliard. And his parents are still married. So, like, Eminem was bogus for that. Eminem did not have to take that whole real life situation and force it into the movie that had nothing to do with anything, and really talk about Mackie like that. I thought that was funny. So actually, maybe y'all have not been wrong. Maybe you guys have actually been accurate when y'all call Clarence. I'm sorry, when you call Mackie Clarence. Maybe it's true. It's not off. I mean, the dude does try to rap all the time, trying to be Tupac. His parents have a nice marriage. He went to a private school. Like, it is what it is. So I just thought that story was kind of funny. What did he say? He said, you're an a-hole, Eminem. I'm like, I'm gonna fight this mother. I'm like, yes, my parents are still married. Got him. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves tonight. I appreciate you coming through. Like I said, I got to get ready for this hot date with the wife as soon as possible. We're about to have us a good old time. I will try and bring some pictures or something because we're about to go see Martin, and hopefully that goes well, because I heard some people was like, it's okay. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Appreciate you. Oh, hold on. Jesus, can you tell him I want my money back for Captain America Brave New World? Thank you for that. I can't help you with that. I don't think he can help you with that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. You know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.